Why Eritrea's Iran pivot could backfire badly. What began as quiet cooperation is now a clear geopolitical pivot. Eritrea, once a silent ally of Israel and Gulf countries, is now emerging as Tehran's newest partner on the Red Sea. Eritrea, often dubbed as Africa's North Korea, is back in the spotlight, this time not for human rights, but for what's becoming a new mode of Iran's expanding axis of influence across the Red Sea. From hosting Sudanese jets to seizing ships for Iran's enemies to cozying up with Tehran's while snubbing the Gulf nations, Asmara is signaling a dramatic shift. But what's driving this pivot? What are the risks, and how could this reshape the balance of power in the Horn of Africa? Let's break it down. Eritrea's pivot didn't happen overnight. Since gaining independence in 1993, President Isaias Afwerki has kept the country on a path of isolation, expelling NGOs, clashing with neighbors, and severing ties with the West. Early partnership with the US and the West eventually soured, especially after Eritrea accused Washington of favoring Ethiopia during the War on Terror. When sanctions hit in 2009 over alleged support of Al-Shabaab and border disputes with Djibouti, Asmara was pushed further into the corner. Iran offered an alternative. By 2012, Iran's military vessel had docked at Eritrea's Assab port. Intelligence sharing, logistics, and covert naval operations followed. But in 2015, during the Yemen war, Eritrea switched sides, joining the UAE and Saudi coalition. Assab became a launchpad for anti-Houthi operation. Eritrean troops fought alongside Emirati forces, and the West quietly maintained listening posts. Then came the pullout. The UAE exited Eritrea in 2021. Israel closed its Asmara embassy, and the US reimposed sanctions over Eritrea's role in the Tigray war. Feeling abandoned and still under pressure, Afwerki turned again, this time to Iran, China, and Russia. The shift is no longer subtle. In July 2024, Eritrean Foreign Minister Osman Saleh attended the inauguration of Iran's new president. When Israel struck Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh during the ceremony, Eritrea condemned the killing, marking a break from its past silence. Eritrea has since refused to condemn Houthi attacks even when ships were hit in its own waters. Instead, it detained Azerbaijani vessels, Azerbaijan being a close ally of Israel and the West. Iran, in return, is reportedly supplying drones and advanced weaponry to Asmara. According to multiple news reports, Tehran may once again have access to Assab, a strategic port just across from Yemen, that would allow Iran to support the Houthis from both sides of the Red Sea. The implication, massive. Eritrea, once seen as a neutral buffer, is now a forward base in Tehran's Red Sea strategy. And it's not just about Yemen. Recent reports suggest that Eritrean ports and airstrips are being used to smuggle Iranian weaponry to Sudanese government forces in post-Sudan, another ally of Tehran. The same Eritrea that once hosted Emirati warplanes and Israeli listening posts is now enabling Iran's regional war network. Here's where things get dangerous. The Red Sea isn't just another body of water. It's a global trade artery carrying over 12% of international maritime commerce, and it's heating up. The US has a base in Djibouti. China does too. Russia is moving into Sudan. Turkey, the UAE, Israel, and now Iran all have interests, ships, or allies in the region. Eritrea's decision to side with Tehran puts it at the center of a rapidly militarizing corridor, and it risks dragging the region into deeper proxy wars between Gulf rivals, BRICS powers, and Western interests. Eritrea's pivot also complicates its relationship with Ethiopia. Once allies during the Tigray war, tensions have returned since the Pretoria peace deal. Addis Ababa is accusing Eritrea of supporting TPLF factions in Tigray. Eritrea in turn says Ethiopia is threatening its sovereignty by demanding access to its ports by force if necessary, but has not offered any evidence to back the accusation. With Eritrea increasingly pivoting towards Iran and Ethiopia increasingly causing up with the US and the UAE, the risks of regional escalation is real. So what does all this mean? Eritrea's pivot to Iran is not just a political realignment. It's a symptom of something deeper, a region caught between old alliances, new empires, and a rising uncertainty. Isaias is playing a high-risk game, hoping Tehran, Beijing, and Moscow will provide protection where the West turned its back. but aligning with Iran in this moment when global tensions are peaking could backfire, because in a sea full of giants, small boats get hit first. And if Eritrea becomes the next launchpad for a conflict, the entire Red Sea region could ignite, with consequences far beyond the Horn of Africa. If this story gave you a new perspective, hit a like and subscribe. Or are foreign powers setting the region up for more instability? Let us know in the comments. This is Analytica Today, and I'm Jonas Ambiko. See you next time.